Is India facing an economic crisis? Think tanks officials believe India's fiscal problems are unprecedented and is heading towards an economic collapse with the slowdown of production while stock markets decline, although the Indian economy received a small 2% boost, but this is not enough to fix the underlying economic problems faced by the manufacturing industry. Rajiv Kumar, the head of the government's think tank Niti Aayog, recently claimed that the current slowdown was unprecedented in 70 years of independent India and called for immediate policy interventions in specific industries such as clothing, manufacturing, motor and construction, etc. In addition to these factors, the slump in the economy is also affected by the various exogenous factors. A leading dampener is the US-China trade war, which has intensified over time and has contracted world trade and in turn Indian exports.
Going next to India, where a slowdown in economic growth is being felt by some major industries in the country. Figures published last Friday show that GDP grew by just 5% in the last quarter. That's the slowest expansion rate in 6 years. The motor industry is among those being hard hit. New car sales were down 30% in July. Lauren Breschdecker has more.
Sitting on the outskirts of New Delhi, the town of Manesar is home to India's largest automobile plant. The auto industry is routinely hailed as a central pillar of the country's economy, but in recent months, demand for vehicles has been on the decline. Rakesh Sharma is one of some 350,000 people working in the automobile sector to have lost their jobs since the start of the year.
There have been layoffs due to the recent slowdown, and I was among those who were let go.
The auto industry's struggles are also having ripple effects on other sectors of India's economy. Bilu Singh Rajput, who rents out rooms to migrant workers and owns a grocery store, says his earnings have fallen by 50% this past year.
There used to be a lot of workers living here, but now most of them are gone and no one's left to buy our stuff.
The car industry's ailments are symptomatic of a larger economic slowdown in India. The most recent figure of 5% GDP growth was the lowest in 6 years. The country's finance minister recently announced a series of measures to help revive the economy and stimulate the auto sector, including lifting a 2014 ban preventing government agencies from purchasing new vehicles. The measures were welcomed by car makers, yet many are calling on the government to do more to save an industry that currently employs around 35 million people.
We note Indian politicians chanting war with Pakistan whilst using Kashmir as a catalyst for war. In reality, if this economic collapse continues, India's war with Pakistan will be short-lived, with severe implications to the Indian economy, since investors have already withdrawn financial investments due to demonetization and an inefficient GST system, therefore affecting the Indian economy, with Indian cartels investing abroad to safeguard their money due to its economic growth slowing down. This is a remarkable reversal in stance of the same group of economists who until a few months ago waxed so eloquently how India was the fastest growing economy in the world, generating 7 million jobs a year. In reality, this is a deception created to sway the statistics by the Modi government. Indeed, India's economy is in trouble and is slowing down, with politicians refusing to accept this fact. To put all this into context, it was less than just 2 years ago, in November 2017, that the Global Ratings Agency upgraded India's sovereign ratings, an independent assessment of the creditworthiness of a country, for the first time in 14 years. Now the banking cartel seeks to impede on India's economy due to the non-performing assets crisis, which damages the bank's interests, who contributed more than 90% of the economy's commercial credit. As a result, any impairment of the banking has a deep and a long-lasting impact on the economy, eventually leading to an economic depression. To justify the upgrade, Prime Minister Modi had then argued that the economy was undergoing dramatic structural reforms under his regime. In the 2 years since, Modi has downgraded its 2019 GDP growth forecast, which fell down to 5% from 7.5% and still slowly declining. Now the immediate question that arises is India's economic condition that grim? Currently, there is almost no investments in new projects in the private sectors. The situation is so bad that many Indian industrialists have complained loudly about the state of the economy, the distrust of the government towards businesses and continued harassment by the taxation departments. It is important for India's political leadership to see this not so pretty picture and not hide behind rose-tinted glasses. If India goes to war with Pakistan using Kashmir as a tool, India will suffer severe economic repercussions that will lead to industrial collapse, job losses and an increase in crime and economic ruin. This will affect the minorities who are already suffering at the hands of Modi thugs and right-wing media's irresponsible reporting. Modi and his allies will use this as an excuse to instigate further hatred amongst the Indians towards the minorities to fuel a war with Pakistan, only to help boost its exports and imports to salvage its failing economy.